Tell me what these three things have in common: a crying baby, filling out a job application, putting on nice clothes for a date. What is the commonality? The thing that they have in common is that you are persuading and influencing. You are trying to sell your audience. You are persuading and influencing your audience to take action. And over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to prove to you that you are a salesperson, because I honestly believe there is not a person out there who cannot learn the skills to be an excellent salesperson. And because of that, I'm going to help you believe it as much as I can, because you will sell or be sold. Toastmasters, distinguished guests, over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to restart this because I don't know at what point I stopped it. Redo. Tell me what these three things have in common: a crying baby, filling out a job application, putting on nice clothes to go on a date. What do they have in common? The thing that they all have in common is that you are selling yourself. You are selling yourself. The thing that they have in common is that you are persuading and influencing your audience to take action. A baby needs attention from a parent. When you are filling out the job application, you are selling yourself to the employer to give you the job. And if you are getting dressed up nice for a date, you want to impress your date or the person. You want to impress your date. And Toastmasters, distinguished guests, over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to prove to you that you are a salesperson. I honestly believe that there is not a person out there who cannot learn sales skills to be a salesperson. And because of that, I'm going to help you believe it as much as I do. Sell or be sold. You will sell or you will be sold on these 7 deadly myths. Now, the 7 deadly myths are ones that you probably believe, or maybe that you've heard before. The first one is that you're not a salesperson, and that is a total myth. You were born crying. You were born as a salesperson. You were born as a baby wanting attention. Kids in the supermarket are trying to convince their parents, oh, I need this treat, or in the toy store, this toy. Kids are always trying to sell their parents. They're trying to persuade and influence their audience to take action. Maybe you are that parent trying to bribe your child with a piece of candy or a toy to do something. If you've ever gone on a date, if you've ever made friends, if you've ever applied for university, a job, or ever been a Toastmaster, you yourself sold yourself on Toastmasters. You made the decision that you were going to believe in yourself, that you wanted to be a better speaker, and that Toastmasters was that vehicle. So you believed that you were worth it. You sold yourself on the program. The second deadly myth is that it is icky, slimy, or salesy, and that is absolutely not the case for the right intent. If you're feeling that you are delivering a slimy, salesy message, then I don't think it is the message. I think it is the intent of the message. If in a perfect world, you've got the solution. Somebody has a problem. You've got the solution. It's a done deal. Shake hands. But now there's all this mistrust in the world that if you're feeling salesy or slimy, I would encourage you to take a look at the intent, because if you are not looking to solve a problem, but you are looking to take from your prospect, then I think that's not a sales problem. It's more of an ethical problem. Which leads us into the third deadly myths, which is trickery or convincing, and that people think sales is trickery. And again, we have to go back to that intent. take the situation that you're a teenager, your parents gave you a curfew, you arrived home after the curfew, and then you told them, oh, I was here all night. I was here all evening. I was in bed sleeping. I don't know what you heard. And that may be sales. However, that tactic is called lying. That lying piece is part of the trickery and the convincing. So that's not exactly sales. That is not telling the truth. The next fourth deadly myth is that if you have a good product, they'll buy. That's not true. If nobody knows about your product, they will not know to buy from you. If you haven't sold your product or helped adapt your product to individual people's needs, they don't know how your product will help them. The next, so I want you to imagine that you went into a clothing store. You kind of had some ideas of some things that you were looking for. The salesperson comes up to you and says, are you just browsing? You're just going to look around and say, oh, yeah, I'm just browsing, just looking. Or the salesperson comes up to you and says, can I help you? You say, oh, no, I'm just browsing. Or if the salesperson were to come up to you and help adapt their products to what you need, they might say something to the effect of, what brought you in today? Are you looking for a shirt or pants? Suddenly you think, oh, well, you know what? I might be interested in shirts. It's much less likely that you would say, oh, I'm just browsing. When a salesperson helps adapt the situation to you specifically, then that is a way to actually overcome the good product. The next deadly myth is that salespeople are pushy. And that may be the case, but that is not a good salesperson. That is not a skilled salesperson. That is, again, kind of one of those tactics like lying. It's bullying. If you are not listening and having a two-way conversation, using your sales skills to adapt the product to your person's needs, then you're not selling. What you're doing is you're pushing, you're bullying, and that's not sales. And another one, the next one, the sixth deadly myth is that you're not born with it, or you either have it or you don't. And that is totally not true. It is not genetic because, like we talked about the crying baby, everybody was born a salesperson. You simply need to learn how to use it. If you think about a kid who's hungry or wants something from the grocery store and they say, give it to me now, I want this now. That sort of demands, those are closing techniques. Kids may not be good at sales, but they're good at closing. They will tell you what they want. They will ask for the order. So of course, good sales skills may not be genetic, but they are skills that you can learn, just as though you would learn to drive a car, learn to play guitar, learn to publicly speak. The last myth of being a good salesperson is that it is for extroverts only, which is not the case at all. Extroverts extroverts don't have any more skills than introverts do. It actually has nothing to do with extrovert or introvert. If you have sales skills, then you will be a better salesperson. Using your God-given talents, given your personality, being able to harness that to connect with people is way more powerful than being extroverts. So all of these techniques, sales is to persuade and influence your audience to take action. So let's talk about the things that you do need to be a good salesperson. You need 3 things to be a good salesperson. Now, I talked a little bit about this before in the earlier section. It is the intent to serve, the intent for your sales. When you are intending, when you've got good intent, you have the solution to somebody's problem. You are adapting your product to their specific situation to tell them how you can help solve their problem. The intent is there, and it doesn't matter if you have all the sales scripts or techniques in the world. If your intent is pure and you are able to show that person how your product, your thing solves their problem, it will make the sale for you. The second thing that you need to have in order to sell, to be a better salesperson, is that you are, like I said before, a problem solver. Whoops. So the first one was intent. The second one is that you are a problem solver and not a product pusher. Again, adapting your product to somebody's situation, telling them how it will help them. You need new tires. I've got the tires that fit your car. You will not be able to drive without tires. I've got the best price in town and 5 years warranty. That suits my situation. And the last thing you need to be an excellent salesperson is to find out what is that one big domino. Not to convince them that they need your product, but to knock down the beliefs and the objections that they have. Most of the time it's money, and most of the time it's they don't believe in your product, they don't believe in you, or they don't believe in themselves. And so when you can identify those beliefs and you start knocking down the beliefs, the objections against your product, you are able to get them. You are able to get your message across and get your product to solve their problem. The big domino is that there's one result, and I'm going to explain it and show you how it fits your situation for 20 different directions. So when we talk about sell or be sold, are you sold on the myths, or are you ready to sell, to serve, to help people solve their problems? It's up to you. Scene.